Module 3, Configuring Recordings and Scheduling Notifications. To set up a user account, browse to your white label user portal. In this case, we'll be using a Secure Skin portal for demonstration purposes. You're going to log in using the user's credentials. And once logged in, you'll see by default your camera's live view will pop right up. To configure the cameras, click HVR settings at the top. Under devices here, you'll see all of the cameras and NASs listed. So in this case, you can see we've got 2 cameras as well as a NAS, all of which are connected to the service. We're going to configure the cameras one by clicking on the device name. When we reach the device configuration page, you can give the camera a name and set the time zone and click Save. Okay, now we're ready to configure recordings for this camera. Click Scheduled and Triggered Recordings. It's the best practice to record for each camera both to the cloud and to the NAS 24/7 continuously. This ensures that no matter what happens in terms of motion, parameters, or external circumstances, that we always have all the video and prevents the user from missing a critical incident. So, to set up our first cloud recording, we're going to leave the schedule at always active, which means 24/7. We're going to name the recording Cloud Recording. And by default, the trigger is on schedule, which means continuously record. You can see there's also some other options in here in terms of motion, and tampering alarm, etc. For now, we're just going to use schedule for continuous recording. We're going to pick where the recording is going to. The hosted video recorder represents the cloud, and we've got our NAS in here as well. Since this is a cloud recording, you're going to choose hosted video recorder. And under stream profile, we're going to pick a cloud recording, which is set by default. And go ahead and click Add. Okay, you can see the confirmation here. And now the camera is recording continuously to the cloud. We're going to do a second recording in high res to the local NAS. So same setup here, except we're going to name it NAS recording. And we can, again, leave it on schedule. In this case, we're going to save the recording to the NAS. And we're going to choose our NAS recording stream profile, which is high resolution. And click Add. And now you can see we've created both recording profiles. Now, if you'd like to use motion detection in addition to continuous recording, you can. And in that case, you would come in here and create a third or fourth recording profile and choose Motion Detection 2.1 as you're triggered by, and you could add your recording that way as well. Go back to Settings, and you can see this is my configured camera. Very quickly, I'll go through and configure the second one. Okay, both our cameras are all set and are recording to the cloud and to the NAS. If you would like to use Motion Detection 2.1, you click the camera itself, we can configure the motion windows. So if I scroll down here, you can see under Configure Applications, there's an option for Video Motion Detection 2.1. This is going to load a little preview image here where you're able to basically configure which portion of the image you're interested in for motion, and the part that's grayed out is not included in the detection. You can also use an exclude window, which says, under the red window, that I want to ignore motion under this particular piece. And if you click save, it'll save that motion window if you choose to use motion recording. It's best practice to set up notifications for camera loss on every single account. This means if a camera goes offline for any reason, the user will be notified right away. That could be somebody unplugged it, lost their internet, lost power, etc. So to configure this, just click Notifications on the bottom here. I'm going to click Add Notification. By default, we're going to leave it at all devices, and we're going to check for Notify When device becomes unreachable. For Notify How, we're going to check Email and put the user's email address in here. And for Limit, we're going to set this to Unlimited. This means that every time the camera goes off, a notification will be sent. If we left this limit at 1, after one notification goes out, it's not going to send any more until you go in and acknowledge it. So by default, we want to leave this as unlimited. And we want to leave the schedule as 24/7. And click Add Notification. And you'll see in the confirmation, you can see the summary details of the recording configured. To check and make sure that your recordings are working, you can click the Recordings tab at the top here. And you'll see there's some recordings already for today. And for each one of these cameras, you can go ahead and click play and then make sure that the recording configured here is working just fine. And if you'd like to test the NAS, just include the NAS in our search here. Click Search again. And here we're able to go in and download a NAS clip to ensure that it works. And if we click Open, it pops right up. And there's the NAS clip playing. At this point, the system is configured, and you're ready to box the equipment up and send it in for physical installation. One key thing to be aware of is that the NAS must be shut down gracefully. What that means is that there's a small circular power button on the back of the drive, and if you click that once, the blue light on the front of the NAS will begin to flash. This means the shutdown process has begun. It takes the NAS about 30-45 seconds to shut off. When it's totally complete, you can tell because all the lights in the front will have gone blank. If you simply unplug the NAS without gracefully shutting it down, you risk corrupting the drive and you make your life much more difficult. That's it.